Go. All right, welcome everybody. We'll take just a minute and make sure we don't have any feedback audio there. Chris, go ahead and take it away. Go.
All right, thank you, Nick.
All right, welcome everybody. We'll take just a minute and make sure we don't have any feedback audio there. Chris, go ahead and take it away. That was totally my fault. Go ahead.
Are we ready to go live, or are we still getting feedback? I can't tell when the real Nick's there and the fake Nick is there.
Yeah, nobody can. We're good to go.
All right, good evening. This is your voice control and 6CMB. There's nothing wrong with your radio. Do not attempt to adjust the frequency. We are controlling the transmission. If we wish to make it louder, we will bring up the volume. If we wish to make it softer, we will tune it. We will control the horizontal, we will control the vertical. We can roll the audio and make it flutter. We can change the focus to a soft blur, and we can sharpen it to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit quietly, and we'll bring control to all of you here. We repeat, there's nothing wrong with your radio. You're about to participate in a great adventure. You're about to experience the awe and mystery, which reaches from the inner mind to the 2-meter crew anti-net. The 2-meter crew is not an actual club. We're just a bunch of hams hanging out, enjoying everything about the hobby. There's no dues. There's no fees to be a 2-meter crew club member. For more info, you need to check us out on 2MC on Facebook. The 2-meter crew anti-net meets every Thursday at 7 p.m. It's an open anti-net, and everybody's welcome. Please feel free to join in. In fact, if you don't join in, this thing's going to be junk. So we need you guys to chime in when we get into calling you and let yourself be heard. The Anti-Net streams live on YouTube at Northwest Ham Shack. You can also access us through the net, through the W6 VVR repeater in Vacaville, California. Frequency 145.47, PL 127.3. We're on Echolink, WG5EEK. We're in a DMR and a talk group, 314-964. You can find us on All-Star Links, 51094. or 51010. You can find us on a YSF reflector 24033. New, we're connecting through the Contra Costa Fusion Network, a network of fusion repeaters that are located in the Contra Costa area, also on reflector 80280. You can find more information about the Contra Costa Fusion Network at ContraCostaFusion.network, no spaces. ContraCostaFusion.network, no spaces. Check us out there. Somehow, we find ourselves lucky enough to get the continuous support from the owners and supporters of the W6 VVR repeater and the Vaca Valley Radio Club. Don't forget, this repeater will continue to be up and running, and all the digital modes will be connected, even when we're not on the internet. So push the talk, and I'll bet you find someone out there looking to talk when we're not out here blessing you with our presence. All right. If there's anybody close, I do recommend that you check out the Vacaville Amateur Radio Club. I'm a member. Quite a few of the guys you'll hear on here tonight are members. There's always such good stuff going on. We have the best field days every year. So if you head to W6VVR.net, W6VVR.net, you can find out more details on the club. And if you live anywhere in striking distance, man, it's a great club to belong to. If anyone has any priority traffic at any time during the meeting here, please let us know. Let the control voice be aware, and I'll clear the way for your transmission. When we wrap up tonight, be sure to join us on Zoom. Everyone can join, no joke. Anyone can join Zoom. You don't need video. Just come and hang out with us. If you're shy about what your video looks like, just join in with your voice. But we have a lot of fun talking ham sometimes on Zoom when we wrap up. All right. Today is Thursday, the 10th of December. I normally do a This Night in History. I'm going to cheat tonight. If you'll indulge me, there was more interesting stuff that happened yesterday than today. So we're going to do December 9th, 1968. Douglas Engelbert and his team of researchers present a 90-minute public technology demonstration, including such innovations as hypertext, video conferencing, but most famously, the computer mouse. This is the first public demonstration of the mouse witnessed by about 1,000 computer professionals in attendance. December 9th, 1968. December 9th, 1987, Microsoft releases version 2.0 of Windows. The most notable feature of Windows 2.0 was that that application of Windows could overlap Windows, unlike in Windows 1.0. Also, it was the first terminology of minimize and maximize. Windows 2 was relatively obscure, and the popularity of Windows didn't really take off until version 3 in the 90s. But interestingly enough, Microsoft officially supported Windows 2.0 until December 31st, 2001, a span of 14 years. All right, tonight we're going to talk about bands. Make sure we're keyed up. I think we took a little key break there. Tonight we're going to talk about bands. And I'm not talking about Guns N' Roses and Led Zeppelin. I'm talking about bands of frequency. Let's explore everything from band plans to your favorite bands. I'll turn things over to our overachieving YouTube superstar, KN6DAL, Nick, up in Everett, Washington. Take it away, Nick.
Hey, thanks a lot, Chris. This is Nick, KN6DAL. Before I get started with bands, I just want to take a quick second and break the repeater. I want to see if there's anybody out there that is a new ham radio operator or just got their license, or maybe upgraded their license. If there's anybody that fits that description, come on in now. All right, nothing being heard. If there's anybody watching out there or anybody that's planning on upgrading, feel free to jump in anytime. We love to hear when people upgrade their license, and when people first get on the air. It's pretty exciting for us. So feel free to jump in and say hi to us anytime. But I'm gonna kick you guys off of the screen here, and bring you over to our band plan. So what I wanted to do tonight is just take kind of a brief overview. There's a lot of information on here that we can go into that it can get really detailed, and we probably don't have the time to do that tonight, but just go over a couple key features of this, and maybe if some people have some questions, they can bring them up. But I'm going to start all the way down here at the bottom on the left-hand side. So if you're ever looking for the U.S. amateur radio bands and to understand more about where we're allowed to talk, you can find that at the ARRL website. You can download this. There's flyers floating all around. Sometimes they come with radios, and people are handing them out and stuff. So whatever way you can get your hands on this, it's a good resource to know. And I personally use this quite a bit when I'm operating, especially on HF. So we're going to start here with a band that I've never operated on, and I don't really know a whole lot about, but this is the 2200 meter band, and that is one big band. That's the I've never seen anybody operate on it. I don't even honestly know the process of it, but what I can tell you is that you are limited to 1 watt EIRP maximum, and basically what that EIRP stands for is there's 3 different ways to measure power that are listed on this band plan. The first one is EIRP, and that's the effective isotropic radiated power. The next one is ERP, which is your effective radiated power, and then the third one is PEP, which is your peak envelope power. Again, we're not going to go into all the details on how that works, but we could definitely discuss that at another date if people are interested in it. But for this, this is the lowest segment of, I believe this is technically medium wave. You guys maybe nod your head and correct me if I'm wrong on that. But moving on to the next band would be our 630 meter band. That's 472 kilohertz. There is another sub note here. 5 watts EIRP maximum, except in Alaska, within 496 miles of Russia, where the power limit is 1 watt EIRP. And then you start to get into the HF bands where you normally start to see more people operate. 160 meters, which is 1.8 megahertz, is a pretty low frequency, and some people like to try to use this band for long distance propagation and stuff like that. There's a footnote here that says avoid interference to radio location operations from 1900 to 2000 megahertz. All right, and then moving up this is probably my favorite band, which is 80 meters. There's quite a bit of traffic on here in the starting in the early afternoon into the late evening and sometimes into the wee hours of the morning. A lot of single sideband traffic in the upper portion, and in the lower portion, there's a digital RTTY and data modes that are available. And one thing that I like about this band is this is the first band that anybody with a ham radio license can operate on. So if you have a technician license, an old novice license, there's a portion of that band that's available for CW only, but it gives you access to get more involved in the HF bands. And then we have 60 meters. So when we go to 60 meters, we actually become channelized. So there's 5 different channels that we're allowed to use. And then there's, you go from using what is normally, let me step back on the side bands here. So for the most part, anything 40 meters and below, you're using lower sideband, and that's not a rule that's listed in here, but it is kind of a normal operating mode that's been accepted. And then I believe 30 meters and up is upper sideband, and I'm sure I'll get the correction if I was wrong on the 30 meters. But for 60 meters, that's channelized, and you use upper sideband. And digital modes and CW are on the listed frequencies here on this chart, and then the upper sideband for SSB is are on the lower frequencies right here. And then there's some footnotes related to those channelized frequencies at the bottom as well. 40 meters is the next one, another popular band in the 7 megahertz region. Again, technicians, they have a limited power capability in CW only on this band as well. And then as you step up in your license class, there's multiple different sections of frequency that you're allowed to use. 30 meters is 10.1 megahertz. This is a limited power band, which is digital only. I apologize, it's RTTY and data only. So one thing to note that in the upper right-hand corner here, CW operation is permitted throughout all amateur bands. So that means that no matter what, anywhere on all of these spectrums, you can use Morse code to transmit, and that applies to all of the bands. That applies to 6 meters, 2 meters on up. So if that's something that you're interested in, it's open game for that. And then moving on to 20 meters, this is another popular band during the day, 14 megahertz. There's several sections. You do have to be a general, advanced, or extra in order to operate on the 20 meter band. And again, my name's Nick, KN6DAL for ID. Moving on to the 17 meter band. This band I hold pretty near and dear to my heart because my first contact with an HF radio was on the 17 meter band, which is interesting because it's actually in the 18 megahertz region of frequency. So it goes from 18.068 to 18.168 megahertz. It's a pretty small chunk of band, but there's definitely people on it talking. It's just a matter of finding them, maybe getting out there and making a couple calls out CQ to try to activate it. One of the interesting things about 17 meters is it's not used in any of the contests. So when you see that there's no room to talk and there's all kinds of contesting going on, and maybe you just want to have a rag chew, 17 meters would be the place to go. 15 meters, 21 megahertz. Again, you'll notice that at the bottom, 200 watt limit technicians and novice are able to operate CW in a portion of the band. 12 meters, we have 24 megahertz between 24.890 and 24.990. Moving up to 10 meters. Now, this is an interesting band because a lot of people maybe in the last few years would say that 10 meters is completely dead, but we have noticed that in maybe the last month or so, there's been definitely a lot more propagation on that band. So I would encourage you to go check that out. A lot of traffic in between like the 28.3 to 28.6 region, the lower part of the voice operating mode of that band. And technicians have the ability to have voice contacts in that portion of the band as well, between 28.3 and 28.5. So if you're new to the hobby, or you're looking to get into HF and not sure if you really want to dump the money into a brand new radio or something, maybe hook up with someone and get on 10 meters and talk and see what it's like. And then 6 meters is the lowest portion of the VHF, and that goes from 50 to 54 megahertz, and that's available for all licensees. And then you get into 2 meters, which we all know and love. Big part of our life is 2 meters for the 2 meter crew. We use it quite a bit for activating mountaintops, just making contacts. A lot of people use it for different digital modes. You can operate in single sideband. It's available for all amateur radios, from technician to extra, and it's on a lot of radios, and it's available and easy to install, and it uses relatively short antennas. So lots of people use 2 meters for contacts. 1.25 meters, that's the band that is kind of the redheaded stepchild, right in between 2 meters and 70 centimeters. Not as much traffic, but there is repeaters, and there are some contacts to be had on that band as well. And then we jump into our beloved friend, the 70 centimeter band, 420 megahertz and above. There is a footnote here that I'll just highlight. Geographical and power restrictions may apply to all bands above 420 megahertz. See the ARRL operating manual for information about your area. So one thing that I'll bring up two things. So the first thing is, I happen to be in a geographic location where I fall above lateral line A, which makes it so that I'm not allowed to transmit between 420 megahertz and 430 megahertz. You might find that on a radio that you just bought, you don't even have that capability of transmitting under 430 megahertz, and it's for that reason. It's to prevent people from transmitting on those frequencies too close to the Canadian border. They don't have the band privileges that we do on those frequencies, and so as to not to interfere with their frequency rights, we do that as it's part of the FCC rules, but it's a courtesy from the states to not interfere. And then there's also restrictions, and I don't know as much about these, but there's some different sites that you can go to where you have things like, does anybody remember the name of that something pause? It's like a radar system. If somebody remembers the name of what I'm talking about, throw it in the comments. But down in California, there's some restrictions on the power levels and use of the 70 centimeter band because of different things that are needed. So. Oh, we got it in the comments. Pave pause, and there's there's some restrictions related to that. So if you're in that area, it might be worth looking into. This band plan is definitely not a catch-all for all the information that you need to be a good operator, but it's a start, and it will help teach you the frequencies. And then we have the 33 centimeter and 23 centimeter bands that are listed on here. You do need some different equipment in order to operate on that. These are used for different types of microwave transmissions and such. And it just kind of goes to show that there's a lot of different places in the hobby that we can play around with. So that's about all that I have for that. If anybody has any questions or anything that they want to try to correct me on as far as the bands go. The one thing that I will mention is that if you look on the left and the right of each of those band segments, that gives you your operating range. And so one of the things we want to be careful of as amateur radio operators is not to transmit out of band. You probably have heard that before. Nothing is going to get us in more trouble in the hobby as having poor operating practices. And so we have to self-regulate and we have to do the right thing. So if you stick within the means of your license, and if you're interested in going into different bands and exploring different opportunities, do some studying and take a test. And if you guys have questions with that or you want help with that, you can reach out to any of us. You can friend us on Discord or get on our Facebook group, and each and every one of us is happy to try to help you get more information to be successful in the hobby. So with that, I'm going to pass that back to Chris and see if there's any other questions. This is KN6 DAL.
Hey, I got a question right off the bat before we give it to the masses here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Specifically as a new ham, I kind of look at the key there, right? You definitely want to kind of take a look at that and make sure you're not transmitting, you're not doing things outside of your license on all these bands. And I don't really know anybody who doesn't have one of these on their wall at this point, but specifically the Legend. The Legend on 10 meter. 10 meter talks about that little yellow spot where it says SSB phone, which it's always kind of confused me. I've never really gotten a real answer out of it. Please, anybody online, that'd be awesome if you guys know anything about it. But what exactly are we talking about with SSB phone there? Because there's nowhere else on this band plan where we're talking about specifically SSB phone other than 10 meters for technicians.
No, you're absolutely right. That's a great question, and I happen to know the answer. SSB phone stands for single sideband. Phone stands for what we're doing right now, which is talking. And so the only thing that's allowed for a technician or a novice is to use under 200 watts. You can key up and talk. In single sideband, it's upper sideband, and though that's the only mode that's allowed in that section. So that means that that with exception of CW operation, which wouldn't really be, I don't think that would be practical to talk in the CW section, because you technicians have the ability to use CW in the lower portion, and that's where you're going to find those contacts anyway. But this basically designates that you can't use data modes and things like that. So it's specifically designed for newer amateur radio operators to get out and make contacts.
So I understand upper sideband as opposed to lower sideband. So you literally need a radio that actually you could switch modes to upper sideband to talk on 10 meters between those 28300 and 28500 for a technician's license.
No, that's not quite what it means. It means you can use upper or lower sideband.
Right.
It's that if you were a general, an extra, an amateur, or whatever the A is, in general, you can use FM, you can use AM, you can use other things in 10 meters. You cannot do that as a technician. You can only use single sideband phone.
All right, thanks. I don't think I'm the only person who's had that question.
No, that's a great question.
So
it is the one spot on this sideband that is arming on this band plan that's always confused me a little bit.
So this is a different band plan to take a look at, and this one's from the ICOM site, and it's, the ARRL is talking about the generalizations. What this does is break down general principles of what you operate in within each one of those bands. Where do you operate digital?
Can you see if you can find that and post a link maybe in the
that would be
program?
awesome.
That'd be great.
Justin.
Yeah, but these
Unless I can scan that. Yeah, no, that would be great. I think that as a technician, I think that's always been the biggest question to me. And, it's pretty obvious what I could do there. but that little slice right there, that looks so tempting, and
Yeah.
I've never actually understood what exactly
No,
does it mean.
you're absolutely right. So one other thing to note here is that it says that MCW is authorized above 50.1 megahertz, and what I understand MCW to be is basically it's a audio CW, so you can actually key up and transmit audio in the form of CW as opposed to actually using a CW carrier. And then test transmissions are authorized above 51 megahertz, except for 219 to 2200 in the 1.25 meter band. So, with that, we'll pass it back to Chris and see if there's anybody else out there that wants to chime in.
You still got me keyed up, or
Yeah, you're good to go.
All right, fantastic. Well, let's go ahead and see who's out there. Anybody? I'd love to hear about what bands you like, why, maybe what bands are dead, all of them. Whatever you got to say about bands. Maybe an odd band that you've operated on, microwaves, or I don't know. Some guys do some really cool stuff out there. So we're going to open it up. I'm going to start with some digital, and to make it a little bit easier, I'm going to kind of walk through the digital connections because sometimes it's hard for certain folks to get through. So let's start. Anybody out there on DMR tonight? If there's anyone on DMR who wants to come forward, come now. Nick, just let me know when you're ready to key up again.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Chris. You're good.
All right, we're back on. All right, DMR, that was easy. How about Echolink? Anybody coming in by Echolink tonight?
We need a countdown timer. I'm unkeyed right now, but 5, 4, 3.
They're beating down the doors, right?
Go ahead.
All right, let's go ahead. Give me in there again. Let's take a look. How about, I think we got some guys in on Fusion. Any of the Fusion connections? Anybody on Yaesu Wires Fusion? Who's out there?
That's a hot band out here these days, too. There's a lot of fun messing around.
3, 2, 1. All right. Get me back in there, Nick.
Yep. Go ahead.
How about Echo? We did Echolink. Geez, I don't know. Who else we got? We got so many different digital modes. Any digital mode now. Come one all, since they're busting the doors down. Want to jump in, talk about bands, or just say hi. Just check in, whatever you're up for. Someone on digital.
From KN6BXX, throw my little quick in. That's a great presentation there, Nick, on the basics. Band Plan 101.
All right, sounds good, Mike. Thanks for checking in there. Good to have one of our regulars who stops in now and again. Anybody else out there? I'll open it up to everybody because no one was exactly breaking down the doors digital. So,
you got called out, Chris. Tim said All-Star. What happened, man?
Oh, was he waiting for the actual? Well,
Wait for the All-Star.
We better go ahead and call out our All-Star, folks. We know how they get.
Don't piss off the All-Star club.
Before we open it up, All-Star. Anyone out there? Sounded like someone was trying to get in there.
Yeah, it
Right?
sounded like something. All right, Tim. K6BIV, I'm calling you out. You posted in there. You're All-Star. Come on in.
Got hip chip there on Fusion as well. Key up.
Are we sure we're making it in the repeater?
Oh, yeah, we're making it in. Okay, go ahead, Chris.
All right. Well, how about we'll open it up for everybody, see if we can get anybody. Just, when are hams shy? I don't know. We got this group of shy hams who don't want to transmit, don't want to be on the air. Who's out there tonight? I guess maybe you're turned off by the band plan discussion. We can talk Santa Claus, anything you want. No, that's not him. KM6DPH does not He's not changing to Santa Claus on Christmas Eve, but he does have a similar beard. So anyone else out there, come on, come one, come all.
Doug in Antioch, KI6UGH. Go ahead.
Hey, Doug in Antioch, I think we got you coming in there. It was a little scratchy on my end. What do we got cooking?
Try to pay attention to, and the radios is absolutely mind-numbing, especially for us old people. You young guys, I mean, you guys.
Was that Tim maybe that was on there and cut out?
I'm not sure. I'll key up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think we might have had Tim coming in there, and it got dropped out, his transmission. He was trying to say that this digital stuff is for young guys or something, I think. But, we were open to all kinds of any way we can get people online and talking ham radio. That's really all that counts to us. So we'll go one more time out there for band plans, and then I had something I want to talk to Nick about, so we'll get that. Talk about that if we don't get anybody else coming in. Any mode, take your time, key up, and say hello.
Here and yeah.
That's Doug, KI6UGH.
Yep. Come on in, Doug. Yeah, I caught most of that. This is Nick KN60AL. Yeah, your signal's pretty noisy too, so I don't know if anybody else is hearing some noise on our end coming into the repeater. Maybe mention that in the comments, or if anybody hears that. But your signal is scratchy, Doug. But we did make you out. You made it. So thank you for coming. KN60AL. Back to Chris. Turn that down, Justin.
Are we listening or are we transmitting?
Nope, you're transmitting. Go ahead.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. Well, listen. Let me go one more time out to everybody. See if anyone else wants to get in on any topic. Report any news. Is anybody going to do some mountaintopping? Is anybody doing some simplex work this weekend? Anything like that? Anything on band plan? One last check.
That was Bobby Lee, real quiet.
Hey, Bobby Lee, was that you coming in? We had heard a quiet transmission. If that was you, KWV, come back.
Yep, Chris, that was me, KD6KWV. And you guys are sounding great tonight. I'll talk to you a little bit later about what I'm experiencing on this side. But I just wanted to jump in and embrace all the good stuff and seeing you guys. You guys look good on the on the YouTube. I just have to really do some work fluctuating between the two because we have a timeout thing in, I think, Tim's room that's set at 3 minutes. So with that timeout timer keeps timing out, I keep getting cut off over on this side as far as the repeater. I'm not
we may adjust that for next week.
A hotspot or anything of that nature. But we'll talk about that later, man. You guys are killing it. You sound great. There wasn't really anything that I had to add other than I've been more on UHF than I ever have been, and I've really been enjoying it. Of course, running all the fusion stuff right now on UHF. It's been very efficient. I've been testing it all over. and I've just been really been a real kick in the pants watching it. Man, you guys have been a huge support. I can't express enough gratitude. But I'm looking at the timer here, so I'll drop out. 86KWV. Y'all have a ball.
Hey, can I say about Bobby Lee too? Hey, I liked your video last night too. That went over on Ham Radio TV about his little mobile unit that he's got going on there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good luck to the other channels, too.
Bobby's bug out box, I think they're calling it.
Exactly,
One of his creations. Yeah,
one of his creations. Yeah.
Yeah, Ham Radio TV on YouTube. Guys should all go check out that video because there's a guy named Jason who some of us used to know, but I don't know. He won't grace us with his presence. See if he really watches any of this. We're calling him out right now, shaming him.
Yeah, totally calling him
It's
out
not like
right
he's in a meeting right now or anything. But
Yeah,
that's right, huh?
But
He's
yeah, we gotta
director
get
over
him
there,
get him back out here because he's got great stuff. And yeah, you're right, Greg, man. That video on Bobby's bug out box is cool. It shows a little bit of his Mad Max thinking when he puts these things together and assembles these creations.
I specifically want to see that little R2D2 that was under the desk in that video. I didn't see it move, but Bobby Lee, you got to get that thing going and serving up drinks and stuff like that. No, if that's right. But
All right, let's give a drop for the repeater. And we're back. All right. So next week we'll see if we can't adjust just during this time.
Hold on a minute, Chris.
Like Humpty Dumpty, but we won't get into that story. I put them all back together again, and now he's got a little Santa hat on. So, and we've got BB-8 as well. So, you know, it should be a Merry Christmas. So may the force be with you.
All right, take it away, Chris.
All right. Well, listen, we had talked about some giveaways, and I know that the Northwest Ham Shack Secret Vault has a few goodies hiding away in there, but we were hoping to hit a certain target on Discord. Were we looking for, or Facebook?
We were looking to hit a target on Discord. So
Did we make any progress?
we did. We made a little bit of progress. So we're going to start some giveaways, and we need to start that at 100 members, and we are currently at 65. So we've got a little bit of work to do. But I think if every one of those 65 members reaches out and tries to bring one or two people in, we could see some potential growth. And I'd love to start the giveaways. We got some cool stuff. So all we need is for people to take that Discord link and pop it into your different Facebook groups and jump in and say hi.
Are we able to? Does someone have the technology to put that Discord link in YouTube tonight?
I think it's running around there, so that capability is somewhere.
All right, that would be cool. Because I want to start giving stuff away. It's Christmas. I'm feeling a bit, Santa Claus like, and I mean, I know I have the secret inventory list. It's an amazing list of significant gear worth, I don't know, just crazy amounts of money to be given away.
WG5EEK's out there. I'm sure he's got the link. He didn't show up tonight, but I see him on the YouTube. So
Maybe there he is. Look at
provide
that.
that link for us, Mike.
All right, I'm gonna see if I
He's
can get it
multitasking
posted.
over there.
KN68.
I'm sure he is.
I'll key up here, Chris, if you want. I think we could probably shut her down and go to Zoom for just a little bit while we post that.
Yeah, we're gonna run a little shorter than normal tonight, and the only reason is that we know that there's a lot of club guys active over at the VVR meeting where there's an ARRL rep, I believe, presenting. So we know some people want to tune in for that as well. So we are going to go ahead and head over. Now, did we post the Zoom link already?
Yeah, the Zoom link is in the chat.
Okay, so hey, guys, please join us over on the Zoom link. It's a lot of fun. And I do have a closing quote for tonight. You guys are ready for it? I'll do that, and then we'll head on over to Zoom.
Go ahead.
I've been impressed with the urgency of doing. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Being willing is not enough. We must do. Leonardo da Vinci, engineer, inventor, artist, and mathematician. I'll leave you with that one tonight. We now return control of your radio set to you. Until next time, at the same time, when the control voice will take you to the 2-meter crew anti-net. Have a good night, everybody. 7-3s and 6 CMB.
Not everybody. Hey, actually, Nate or Chris, that actually reminds me. That whole experimental kind of attitude. I got kicked off of LA's big ass WinLink server last night.
Were you traveling and
I was messing with my All-Star nodes. I put a little controller on it on the Mac. That's really kind of nice if you're a Mac cat. Something called Transceive. I don't know if I did anything over there, but I definitely got the boot. So I gotta go smooch a little booty. Get back on 2560 on the All-Star network because it's a fun network to listen to.
It's really.
What's up, Bobby Lee?
You're a Mac cat. Checking in, Roger. Checking in, Roger.
Bobby, you need to turn off all that stuff. You can't have any other audio going except Zoom.
What do I got going on?
Anything, turn it all off. You're in your shack, and I know you.
There, I just turned it all off for him.
I think this is like the third time. I got to smooch a lot of booty to get back on that 2560 All-Star node.
Oh yeah, they might.
It's so fun to watch.
Now, huh?
Yeah, I think they got a number on me now.
Yeah,
What am I gonna do
here tonight, Tim? You didn't tell me you had a trailer on that rig. You could do some distance. with
Yeah,
that
he
thing,
could go. That thing's sweet.
That is pretty fresh.
I don't know if Tim's muted or if he's ignoring us.
I
just unmuted.
There we go.
Well, the longest trip that I've taken is 9,000 miles.
That's decent.
What? 9,000 miles? That's like to California, New York, and back on that.
Well, it was from California to Nova Scotia to New York and some other places, and then back.
On that ride? That's amazing, dude.
Is that a trike I see on there?
Yeah, that's a Can-Am Spider.
Wow.
Yep.
That's like the California.
All right, who's got the YouTube running in the background?
That's got to be Bobby.
Bobby.
Hey Tim, is that your Wires X room that we're all jumping on these days, right?
We've got. It may be me doing the multiple audio. I just killed the.
Oh, YouTube, baby.
Yeah, you got to keep YouTube muted.
Bobby Lee, you were falsely accused.
Bobby,
you can unmute.
You weren't the guy.
It was me again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he is mic'd, or he was.
Just so you guys know, I've had my microphone muted the whole time.
I know it wasn't you, Bobby.
Oh, YouTube, baby. It takes us older guys just a little longer to actually understand.
It's Tim. So Tim,
Falsely accused.
Tim,
It was
in,
fake news, Bobby. It was fake news that accused you, man.
hey Tim. So inside the inside the YouTube, your YouTube screen, you need to mute YouTube.
I've turned YouTube off.
Okay. Oh, it is Bobby Lee. I just muted him.
Okay. Ah!
You've got, it's you. Don't shake your head. It's you.
It was actually both of us. It was both of us. I turned mine off, but he didn't turn his off.
So you have to mute YouTube
You
audio.
fusion guys, man.
Talk about the band plans and some of these, digital modes. I remember when I started FT8 and, you get all crazy getting it set up and wanting to get going. And then, I didn't even think about like what I was transmitting on. I just grabbed the frequency that it said to broadcast, and then I start transmitting and all of a sudden I had that moment of panic. Like, did it just put me outside of my band, privileges? Like, get the band plan out real quick and take a look at it. And, but I, as a tip, I think like with all these digital modes, you have to be careful that you don't end up in an area where you're not supposed to be.
You're absolutely right.
Just because you can do it doesn't mean you've got the privileges.
Yeah, and a great example of that is to look at your local band plan. So your the ARRL bands, they don't give you all. So every different area has different requirements and needs in order to accommodate what kind of traffic is going on. So a good example is in the lower part of 70 centimeters, there's parts of that are open, but you can't use FM. You have to use a different type of digital mode. And so those are things to be careful of, because like All-Star, for instance, if you have an All-Star node hooked up, you're coming into that All-Star node on FM. So you typically want to try to find a frequency that's not used that you can use on low power to access your All-Star node, but you want to make sure that you're within your band requirements for your area. So it's always a good idea to find your local band plan and to stick to that, because if we all take a good practice of being good operators, it just helps everybody. And if we bat our eyes at that idea and say I'm going to use whatever I want and just go for it, and we don't take that seriously, then it eventually just kind of corrupts the system over time, and you see some of those privileges go away.
Hey, I was just reading. Sorry, Chris. I was just reading about some bands out in New Zealand off of the ARRL website as well, about these guys getting bands pulled from the amateur radio users out there. I think it was way up there. I think it was in the 5 gigahertz range or something like that. But still,
Yeah,
you don't want to see that pulled from anybody.
3 gig here.
Yeah, we lost 3 gig.
Yeah. I mean,
we're fighting to try to, those of us that are using it, we're trying to say, let us use it, let us continue to use it for what we're using it for until you actually sell it. I know we know you're going to auction it, but you don't have a buyer. And when you do have a buyer, it may take them, I mean, the league is saying it could take 10 years to implement.
absolutely.
It's off now. So.
Yeah, it's important. It's important to utilize those bands if you can. There was one band on that. You know what? I'm going to refer to my chart that you were doing, Nick, because I think everybody should have one of those up. But like the 1.25 meter, I see All-Star using that a lot these days. I see a lot of people using it on All-Star, specifically that band. But I mean, honestly, where I'm at in North Factorville here, we're really 2 meter and 70 centimeter heavy, and I don't even have a radio that could pull that. But it's concerning in regards to like it might get pulled from us if we don't utilize it, do something with it, and there's also that whole thing about being a good steward of the network, right?
Yeah.
Not
well. One thing to think about, Greg, is like what Tim was alluding to with the 3 gigahertz band is, they have a whole system in Sacramento and parts of Seattle that's a linked internet system. You can send and receive emails and stuff through. I forget the name of that. Is it called Arden, Chris or Tim? Yeah, the Arden system. Which is it's an awesome setup, and so it's one of those things that if we lose that makes it really hard. Like it would be nice to, like what Tim said, buy some time on that band to get those guys to be able to convert it to a different frequency, because they have a lot of equipment wrapped up in that. But it's a really cool system. It's pretty short range, but if the grid failed as far as interconnected internet, that's a huge backup resource that could be used. And it's just one of those things, if you're not practicing using it, like if that band was full and the FCC knew that they were going to be reaping the benefits of testing and all kinds of different things like that, then they would keep it open to us. But if it's not utilized enough, then it doesn't. So get out there and play with what you're allowed to within your class restriction.
We're probably going to end up losing the 420. And in northern Cal, actually throughout California, both northern and southern, the 420 band is used for heavy linking of mostly FM repeaters. So they'll either do a hub and spoke type of a link, from a major hilltop, and they may have 3 or 4 channels going in various directions. But the users of that spectrum, the repeater owners, and for the most part, these are older guys. In many cases older than me, and they don't want those frequencies published. So NARC doesn't publish the frequencies for anyone, including the commission, to get some sense of how much activity there is there. I think that's a screw up, because what's going to happen is the commission will look at repeater directories as an example, or repeater book, or whatever, and none of that information is in there. SoCal, because of Scrubba, their 440 coordinator, they don't even publish the 440 activity, the majority of it, as far as where the repeaters are. They have a few that are, quote, open repeaters, but all the closed systems, they're invisible. They're invisible not only to the user, the potential user, but they're also invisible to a person who wants to put up a repeater, and they want to look at what's in use to be able to decide a frequency, but none of it's accurate. It isn't inclusive. And, it's a bunch of guys that, really don't want any of the young guys ever to get repeaters or anything else. And that's a mistake.
Well, that's that concept that repeaters are for MCOM only, right? And that it should just sit there. And it's that argument of, well, how do you respond to an emergency if you never practice for the emergency?
Okay, so just 2 weeks ago, the packet people, which me and the packet people obviously have a bit of an arm twisting contest, because 10 years ago I stole 5 of their frequencies and created 7 digital outputs for digital repeaters because there was no spectrum.
Hey, Tim, can I stop you for 1 second? I don't mean to, because quite honestly, dude, I absolutely enjoy what you're saying, but we got a new guy here. We got K6RNL, and I want to make sure that he just turned off this video. Hey, Greg, you got to be a cool guy, man.
You scared him away.
Come with it, dude. Say something.
Oh, there he is.
Hey, what's going on? This is K6RNL. I didn't have my WinLink account set up, so I was only able to listen to tonight's anti-net. But yeah, I met KN6DAL through Fate over the weekend because I was off-roading in California and
right on.
Yeah, vehicle overturned.
The story.
Yeah, vehicle overturned. There was no cell service.
Your vehicle overturned?
Well, this is the guy.
Yeah.
Nick, right? That you were talking to. I've totally heard this story too.
Yeah, so right, no. So like across the valley on a different trail, I saw a different SUV overturn and do a barrel roll. And there were other vehicles there, but cell service is very poor in the park. I didn't have cell service, and I forget the study, but the bystander thing where everyone will just not ask for help because they assume everyone else is.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, well, screw it. So my D5100 has a GPS database of repeaters, so I just started keying up repeaters, and 3 repeaters in on W6ARB San Jose. Nick answered, and it was super.
It was in
cool.
Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
Yeah, totally.
So he took the call. He took the phone number, called the park ranger, and I guess they did know about what was going on, but it was a big relief. And I hope, because I didn't see anything in the news about it, so I'm gonna just assume that the vehicle occupants were safe, and hopefully all ended well.
Yeah, I researched that, and it's good to meet you, by the way, Greg, and thanks for coming on. I researched that the next day too. I was like, well, if something bad happened, then it would probably be in some sort of newspaper or something, or online somewhere. And I did some searching and didn't find anything. I was hoping you might have maybe even known the people or known what happened. Do you go down to that park frequently?
Yeah, I go down there all the time. It's very heavily frequented, but that's the first time I ever saw a rollover like that.
Greg, I was there one time, and I saw a pretty brutal rollover myself, where these guys actually were in like an old Blazer, and when those guys rolled, they didn't have any kind of roll bar or anything. So when we came up on that trail, that car was sitting on top of the window edge line, and luckily those kids they were able to break out. But man, when I heard the story between you and Nick, how you guys connected, I even heard the audio. Bro, that's what ham radio is all about. And, that it just kind of speaks volumes of the capabilities. I mean, you may have saved lives that day. And just to know that connectivity came through for you in the moment that it needed to.
Yeah, hats off to you, Greg, as far as being willing to stand up and do the right thing. I think that's super commendable. And in fact, I was going to message you, but I'll just ask you right now while we're streaming it to everybody and put you a little on the spot. I'd like to put a video together, maybe just talking about a little bit to the necessity of ham radio as far as emergency communications and stuff go like that. Because that's pretty interesting having, we're almost 1,000 miles. We're probably over 1,000 miles away at that contact point, and to have that sort of interconnectivity is huge. And I'd love to extend that invitation to you if that's something you'd be willing to do. We could, put together just a little Zoom meeting and talk a little bit, and we can play the audio back so that everybody can hear it, and just maybe have a record towards the fact that ham radio is super vital to our community, and it remains that way in times like that.
You need to do a YouTube video with just YouTube talking about it.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's what I was
put some
say.
clickbait on it so you get some views on it.
Totally. Hey, I also want to say, hey, Tim, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, it is
okay. We got this new guy here, and I didn't put two and two together. I heard this story a couple days ago as well.
Yes, that's what
I know that Nick was looking for that guy who was on the radio, so it's good to see you here, Greg.
I was trying to find the guy that didn't put his email in QRZ. You need to update your QRZ with your email, buddy.
Or you don't. You can stay anonymous. Your choice.
Your choice. Be the Secret Santa, dude. Be the incredible Santa that everyone sees.
I'm totally down to record a video. And to actually be honest, Nick, but before you actually contacted me, hopefully you're cool with it. But yeah, I did find your address in the FCC, and I mailed you one of my K6 RNL cards.
Oh, I got a QSL card. The deal. That's
awesome. Emergency contact QSL card.
That's a nice thank you, man.
So, but yeah, we should definitely record on YouTube, especially because what I forgot to mention on the radio at the time is that in terms of understanding where this was happening, my Pico APRS was successfully transmitting my location and getting picked up by a digipeater, and so.
I could have totally just looked it up online and found out exactly where you were.
You could have seen my exact position at the moment it was happening because I was transmitting on APRS. So
the other cool thing was, the FCC database is public knowledge, right? It's public information, and they asked me who you were, and at that point, all I had was your call sign. I was like, I can tell you exactly who he is. You need his address. You need his name. What do you want? I'd have given him your email if you would have had it on there.
That is an awesome example of like the things that we could do as hams. I mean, it's we could sit there and talk about all the time about doing 2 meter stuff and rag chewing, but this is like a super great example of like how this is actually helpful. So
lots of
super psyched to hear about it, Nick. I was actually like, I couldn't even like when I saw that, I just thought it was a story from the past. But now we've got Greg here too. I hope you keep showing up, Greg. Become part of the 2 meter crew as well.
You live
anytime
in
you turn it on, it works.
No,
I live in San Jose, or
I live in San Francisco, and yeah, not to monopolize too much of this, but yeah, I'm doing the online exam Saturday morning to get my general.
Cool.
Right.
The HF bands.
No, that's awesome. Let us know in Discord how you do. Okay, you said Saturday morning.
Yeah, I took a sick day from work today to study, and I'm still.
This is live on YouTube.
Priorities, man.
Hey, I see the cough. I see
Don't
it.
worry, nobody watches this YouTube channel.
You look terrible. This is this is a Zoom doctor's meeting right now. That's what we'll call it.
I mean, you see that right there, right?
Hey, so what time is your is the test, Greg?
8 a.m. Or 9 a.m. Pacific.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, let us know on Discord how you do.
Yeah,
Oh, he's gonna
I'm
kill it,
locking in at right now in the practice exams. I'm coming in right at like 75%. So I think I'm gonna need to have another bad cough tomorrow.
Yeah, you just got to get better,
you
man.
gotta have a long weekend. You know, that's just the way it is.
Priorities, man. What's important, dude?
That's
I
great.
think the general's pretty important, dude. Make
Well,
it happen.
we're going to kill the stream here in a minute, but I want to give everybody just a minute to say their last piece before we go. So we'll start in, I'll just read off my screen, starting in the upper left-hand corner. Greg, what do you got?
I just kind of flow with it. I turned out my technical license in August of last year, and I've been working on a whole bunch of stuff. Sometimes I feel like I'm trying to wrap my head around too much stuff rather than focusing on one thing at a time.
Yeah.
But I am starting to go for my general now too, and that just means that I haven't tried as hard as possible, quite honestly.
Just keep practicing. You'll get it.
There's just so much to learn here. There's so much to wrap my head around. I'm trying to get on Bobby Lee and Tim's, fusion repeater, because that's the hot stuff these days. You guys are hot guys these days, and I got some of it going, some stuff's not going. I got All-Star going, some DB switch I'm working on. I'm still trying to dial in my APRS. There's a lot of stuff at the technical level without even trying for a general that I spend a lot of time on. Sometimes it's productive. Other times I spin myself in a circle for a couple hours before I realize it wasn't very productive at all. But, it's still all just incredibly fun hobby. I love doing this. I'm still super happy that you guys asked me to come on and be a part of this, dude, because I learn more every day. I ask you like this question that been bugging the hell out of me about that chart.
Yeah, that's what this is all about, man. I
dig it.
Just keep plugging away. You're absolutely right. There's all kinds of stuff, even as a technician, that that you can get involved in that I haven't even done. So the hobby is just like relentlessly big. There's so many things to do. So great point.
It's like learning Japanese, dude. The more you know, the more you realize you have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, Chris, what say you?
I say it was a good short night. I know we're bugging out quick. Looking forward to maybe having a little more longer session maybe in the near future as we get towards the holidays, but not in them. People will have time to maybe chillax and talk ham radio. It's killing me that our audio is not good, especially on the VVR. Like, we got to figure out how to get this. I mean, if there's one thing that we need to do right, it's broadcast over that repeater and
I agree
and make sure it sounds good. So I'm proposing that we do some testing. I know testing is not fun, but testing makes us look good. So
I agree.
I'd like to do some of that in the near future so that we sound good more. I look good. I know that, on the YouTube and all, and that's a big plus, but I'd like to sound good too.
Cash money, brother.
Justin, what do you got, buddy?
Hey, man, I'm just a man with a band plan. So.
Man with a band plan. Tim.
He is the silver voice over there too, Justin. I mean, he's always kind of low.
Always just coming in.
Always sounds good.
I'm coming in low.
Whoa.
You always kind of got a low,
sexy.
Low
No,
voice
I wouldn't
there,
call it
dude.
low. I would call it sexy.
Yeah, and if you heard me in real life, it would sound nothing like this. So we have to stay on Zoom and the radio. So,
what do you got, Tim?
Nada. I got a bunch of things that I'm working on. I saw you guys your presentation last week with all this video stuff. I said, God, I am really weak in the video department. Not this week. I got all kinds of crap. It's not hooked up right.
There you go.
You guys need to know we want to rename we want to rename Tim Flash because
Yeah, yeah.
when you get Tim like hooked on something,
He's all
he's
about it.
gone, and like a day later, he's set up, he's got gear, he's like top of his
But I don't.
game.
You got to understand, I don't have as much time left as you guys do. So if I want to accomplish it, I got to get it done now.
Tim, you look like you're like 55, dude. What are you talking about, man?
I'm 71. Thank you.
No, actually, you know what? I've seen your name all over everywhere. My name's Greg. Nice to meet you, man. This is the first time I met you. Right?
I'm a legend in my own mind.
So, Greg, K6RNL. One thing I'll just mention to you really quick because you're probably saying, "What the heck are these guys talking about?" So, Tim and Bobby Lee and Chris, the three people you see on your screen there, they all own an interlinked repeater system in the Contra Costa County area, and it's super cool, man. It's really easy to access. There's a lot of good conversation on it, and they've worked really, really hard to help keep that interlinked. So not only are we interlinked through 3 repeaters there, we're also interlinked through the W6VVR repeater out of Vacaville, California, and then pretty much every digital mode that you can think of is capable of being accessed through this. And so it's a ton of fun, and everybody's put a lot of hard work, and they've put a lot of hard work into making that. So I'll just say again, a huge thank you to you guys for everything that you've done. I don't know where I just feel so graced with everybody's presence as far as the hobby is concerned, because I mean, all of you have just done so much for like my personal growth and just the growth of the 2 Meter crew and the growth of my YouTube channel. And it's just a awesome learning experience. And you guys put a ton of effort in to that. So we definitely appreciate it.
Greg, where you live in San Francisco, do you see Mount Diablo?
I'm at the top of Knob Hill.
Oh, you will see Mount Diablo.
So, but I couldn't get W6VVR tonight.
Yeah, but that's not on Diablo. Can you get the W6CX repeater?
Yes, from because from my Jeep I can get on a D-Star repeater up on Mount Diablo.
Okay, so
that D-Star repeater has a good footprint, man.
Yeah, so in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, part of this is COVID issues, and Yesu is backlogged, but you will be able to get into a Fusion repeater on that same mount.
Tim, you're supposed to keep this stuff top secret. You're on YouTube.
Okay, I've never even used Fusion. So
that's why I'm giving you an advance warning. Christmas is coming.
You have 2 weeks to get your priorities in order, Greg.
I'll need some like new. Well, I'm gonna need a new radio in general because I'm gonna get my general license. So sure, sounds like in a few weeks I'll figure out what Fusion is and get a radio to support it all.
You're gonna need new radios across the board.
Greg.
Just
get on Discord, dude. There's plenty of us. I don't have any Fusion. I got no Yaesu going on, but
yeah, but that's at 8 o'clock tonight. You don't.
I got a blue TV going and a little thumb drive, dude.
Yeah, but
and it totally works.
Careful what you ask for, bro.
By Tuesday, you can have a Fusion repeater at your house.
It just takes a piece of plastic and the internet.
Yeah, and a little electricity.
A little GoFundMe page.
Bobby Lee, you got any any last words?
Oh, aside from just being really grateful that you guys had a lot of fun supporting the Fusion group and doing your thing, and kind of the collaboration between us now has just been a kick in the pants, bro. I really would never even have fathomed it getting this far this quick. Of course I've got my good friend to blame on that, or thank for better terms of words to use. But I'll tell you, man, it's been to see the connectivity, and I have been playing with Wires X and Fusion now for a little bit, and I jumped on it because of its simplicity and because its connectivity is a push of a button, no code plugging, and I really felt that simple aspect of fusion is really going to be more attractive. And believe me, I am a DMR. I love DMR. Tim is my DMR mentor, who introduced me to it. So I'll never
bug you now, Tim.
I'll never dismiss DMR, but really, to get people on Wires X, even if it's our Pauls, have to jump through a few extra hoops, but typically it's very easy. You push a button, you connect, and you really have some power to talk to hams in many, many, many different communities. And that's, I think, what I love the most about it. That's why I started my node, stepped over to my repeater, said, Tim, what do you think about this? Oh, well, hey, listen, this is better than sliced potatoes. And next thing you know, we're having a lot of fun with it. So being a part of the 2MC, watching this grow, shaking hands with VVR, I mean, Kevin, Jason, and so many other people up there. I wouldn't, I couldn't even find words, bro, other than gratitude, excitement, and in such a playful way. This is so freaking awesome.
Thanks a lot,
That's
Bobby
what I
Lee.
got.
And Greg,
Bobby.
K6RNL, you got anything you want to say before we close her down?
Yeah, nice to meet you all. That was a fun net. I like it because the first time I ever joined a net as a ham operator, they spent 45 minutes doing a roll call, and then the net ended.
Yeah.
So
Find that entertaining?
funny
No.
thing about
the
that.
That's why we call it the
Anti-net.
anti.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I'll try and dial in with WinLink next week because Thursday starts my 3,000-mile cross-country road trip in the Jeep. So I'll be on all kinds of link repeaters and APRS along the way. So
Cool.
Hey, Greg, are you documenting that at all in any way? Are you like a YouTuber yourself, or are you gonna take some footage and do something with it?
yeah, I have a dash cam. So after the last road trip, I just like condensed all the interesting parts of the drive into like a 5-minute time lapse.
All right. Well, listen,
You have
we're
Wi-Fi?
asking you like total last minute, but if you use even your iPhone, if you do any ham stuff like on the trip, or you make a few contacts, or just tinkering around, like do something with your iPhone, and we'd love to bring it into the ham shack and talk about it. Because people don't, like when you travel, it's interesting to find out. I was going through like Bakersfield, and the guys down there do like all this microwave stuff. So I'm listening to those guys. It was like something totally new to hear, as you travel. So who knows what you're going to hear as you do 3,000 miles in the Jeep.
Yeah, Greg, do you have Wi-Fi in your Jeep? Do you have
No.
a personal hotspot on your phone?
Yeah, I have a personal hotspot, yes.
Because if you had a hotspot, I mean, not a phone hotspot, but if you had, let's say, like an open spot, you could pair the open spot through Wi-Fi into the cellular data network, and with that FD3DR that you're mentioning here, you could actually be talking to this group of people anywhere in the country. Because all you're doing is basically talking from your handheld to the little device into the internet, and you're connected.
Yeah, but we all got WinLink. We'll find you too.
Most of all, have fun, dude. Awesome
Yeah.
trip.
An
For sure.
all-star. Do all-star, dude. You could do the cheapest little Balfang 3 VR. A little all-star hooked up.
Cursing like that. Excuse you. Did you say? I'll get you a little thing. We can wipe
Come
your
on,
nose.
I don't know any ham who doesn't have a fang sitting there somewhere, dude.
All right, well,
Everybody's got
I'll follow up with y'all on the
Dirty
Discord.
talk, but still.
That's awesome.
I'll follow up with you on the Discord about it. But yeah, if I just like I'm sure all of you, I just like prefer to use my actual radio. So yeah, I have numerous Raspberry Pis around here. So if I could use those to link in, if people could help me do that, it'd be much appreciated.
You
We'll talk about
absolutely
it.
can.
We'll make
I
sure
think
you
we
connect
need
to
to do the all-star build as a multi-week
All-Star,
Anti-net.
dude. That's the way to go. Have you looked at ham point, dude?
No, when I got into ham a year and a half ago, I had like so much fun with the actual radio part. I'm a software engineer by day, so I was like, I just want to get away from the computer stuff. And
That's the cool thing about Hamvoid, dude, is you could build a little pod. You already got a couple of them, and then you integrate COS and CTS out to your radios, and then you could just talk on your radio and pretend like there's nothing there. I mean, what Bobby and Chris and Tim are doing is awesome, super awesome. There's a lot more overhead in what those guys are doing in regards to a little all-star. Little all-star ham, dude. Little ham boy. Check it out, dude. Go look at it, man. You'll see what I'm talking about. It all kind of translates over to whatever you're going to push it to. So.
All right. Well, I appreciate everybody coming out tonight. I'm gonna kill this stream. So let's all wave bye to the lost land of YouTube. Appreciate everyone coming out tonight. Hope everyone has a good evening, and we'll see you next week. 7-3.
I believe him.
Later, folks.
They're he jumped
I mean,
out
Greg
quick.
bounced. He didn't realize it was just the close of the stream.
Hey, you know what? You guys just gave me an awesome idea, though. I want to